So last week on Gleeboot, Emma left Will at the altar like she rightfully should. Ryder kissed Marley, and everyone else hooked up except for Jake and Marley. And that's what you missed on Gleeboot.
Yeah, did they kiss at all last week? I don't even know.
I think they kissed.
Because that's right, it was Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
When they were dancing, didn't they?
Yeah.
Maybe.
They kissed a couple times, I'm pretty sure.
I guess I'm glad it's not the episode a few seasons ago where they were doing like a kissing booth and everyone got like meningitis or whatever.
Yeah.
So just to raise the stakes there, we can make it COVID. It's perfect for this century.
I mean, I remember when we did that episode and we were like, yeah, so we just went into lockdown. So it was a little like touchy. But yeah.
Gleeboot.
Welcome back to Gleeboot, the show where we get drunk and talk about rebooting Glee one episode at a time. I'm Cullen.
Alyssa.
I'm Hannah.
And today we have a special guest, a podcast crossover guest that we have not met before today. So this is a podcast first.
Ooh.
We have Kaci Pelias of I'll Make a Fan Out of You.
Hello.
Yay.
Welcome.
Happy to be here.
Glad to have you.
Yeah. I thought this would be great because this episode is all about songs from movies, and I have these 90s kids sing a bunch of songs from 80s movies when in reality they would have sang a bunch of Disney songs. So I was like,
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. I did think it was very weird that everyone was singing songs from the 80s, and then I think What Time Is a Girl Best Friend, that was like a 60s song.
Yeah, I wasn't really into that one, but I mean, we'll get there when we get there.
Yeah, so that was all confusing. But yes, Kaci, thank you for being here.
you want to give a quick little blurb about your podcast?
Yeah. So we are on a hiatus right now, ever since the pandemic, because we haven't like figured out how to do things yet. But we started at Snow White, and we've been watching all of the Disney animated movies in order chronologically, and then we rank them and we review them. And I think we left off at,
I think it was Frozen.
whatever movie. Frozen?
I think,
Probably.
yeah.
It's whichever one is like right before Big Hero 6, because we recorded Big Hero 6 and then I think we lost the file.
Oh,
Like,
no.
because we recorded it over Zoom like a few weeks into the pandemic, and then we don't know what happened.
Oh, no.
So next would be Zootopia, which we gotta get to that one.
Well, if you need to
Zootopia.
re-record Big Hero 6, I'm a big Hero 6 fan. And if you want to guess, let me know.
Oh yes, absolutely. I'll let them know.
It's
Yeah.
such a good movie.
You also do the sequels?
Ooh,
So,
good question.
We're going off of like a very specific Wikipedia page that has like the list of the movies. And so we decided that once we like get through all of them and we like catch up to like whichever one just came out. I don't know I guess I'm Soul, because I don't think that one's Pixar.
Luca came out
No,
after.
those are Pixar. Luca's Pixar.
Yeah.
Oh, is it? I thought it was Disney.
Raya and the
what
Last
is
Dragon.
Plus.
Oh yeah, Raya.
Well, because
That's
Disney
right.
owns Pixar.
So
It's not technically a Disney movie. I thought it was Disney, though.
own it if they get
It's like,
money
yeah,
from
yeah.
it.
It technically is Disney, but we were like, it has to be Disney Animation Studios.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And then we're gonna start. We're gonna do all the Pixar movies, and then I think after that we were like, we should do like the sequels, because there's like a subset of like Disney animated movies that are like the sequels, and some of the ones that would be on like
The ones that went right to video.
Yep.
yeah, all of those.
Little Mermaid 2, I'm looking at you. Both
Yeah,
the
'cause-
Aladdin sequels, looking at you too.
Cinderella 3, iconic movie. Looking at you.
Oh, good. Honestly, what is it? A Twist in Time?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Cinderella and time travel. We didn't know we needed it, but we did.
I think it caused the pandemic, to be honest. She had no right to do that.
Honestly.
Anyway, but
So like there are
That's
other
awesome.
Disney podcasts, but I agree with your guys' takes the most.
Thank you. Thank you.
You guys have like fresh takes, and some of them are like crazy. Like Home on the Range made it really high up in the ranking.
Honestly, Home on the Range is so good.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
I was getting into a fight with my coworkers the other day because they were all like making fun of Home on the Range, and I work in Disney World, so everyone has very strong Disney opinions.
Yeah.
But I don't know. The music in Home on the Range is really good.
Vaguely remember this movie as being a movie, and that's it. That's all I know.
So
it is definitely a movie.
I have another sidebar question, and then we'll get into everything else about the podcast, but I'm just super curious about yours. So I think, Cullen, you were the one who introduced me to Drunk Disney on YouTube.
Yes.
Have you ever seen any of their videos? I'm trying to remember.
I have not.
Okay, we'll definitely email it to you.
Folks on YouTube.
Yes.
They haven't.
I don't think they make
s-
videos anymore.
They don't. I don't think. But they used
bummer.
to do Drunk Disney. They'd like watch a Disney movie and have a drinking game for the movie and get really drunk, and it was always really
great.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll definitely send it to you. But
Okay.
yeah.
Yes, please.
But yeah.
Well, welcome to Gleeboot.
We-
It's a podcast
yeah.
about Glee, not Disney.
Not Disney.
Yeah.
Right.
But we talk about Disney a lot. We had
It
the
comes up.
Aristocats debate.
Oh, it does. It comes up.
Oh, wait, hold on. Did I ever get a response to that meme I sent you guys about the Aristocats? We'll have to talk about this later.
Yes, I sent a response.
Maybe I
Very
didn't get it.
non-political response because I think I was the only one. My opinion. I don't even remember what my opinion was.
So Casey, we're gonna ask you this. This is our.
Okay,
we had
okay.
a poll on our Instagram. So who's the real villain of Aristocats? Edgar or the rich lady who owns the cats?
Oh, I had never thought about that before. Because I would say Edgar, but maybe Edgar just needs to make money to like survive.
But he abuses cats. So like I get it, but I'm with like Edgar's the villain. I was team Edgar's the villain.
fair.
Alyssa was team
I
the
was.
lady.
I think the old lady's the villain because
Well, and aren't the cats like a little bit happier when they like leave and they're hanging out with whatever his name is?
Thomas O'Malley. Yeah.
Yes.
And then I was team, I've never seen the movie, so I'm the neutral party. Oh, that's too funny.
I
Yeah.
have to think about that.
Yeah.
I'd be caring about humans more than animals. I know it's kind of like passe these days, but
So Casey, have you ever? What is your relationship or journey with the show Glee?
Right. So I was never allowed to watch Glee.
Probably for the
growing up.
best.
Probably for honestly. But it was because they were like teenagers and they're like having sex. And one of them was gay. And so we were like, we can't watch it. And then I think it was when I was in college, I was like home for one winter break. And I was like, oh, I can watch whatever I want now. So I put on Glee. And I tried to get through the pilot and I could not get through it. And I was like, maybe I think I missed the like window of opportunity. Because then recently, I think it was during the pandemic too, like at the beginning, I was like, maybe I'll actually try to watch Glee. Because I do think it's like such a culturally important show.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like everyone's seen it. Everyone makes Glee references. It was so like in tune with like the music of like the time that it took place in. So it's
Except
like,
for this episode.
Yeah, except for this one. But I also could not get through it.
And that's what's crazy about the pilot is, and we come back to this every time someone's like, yeah, I couldn't even make it through the pilot. The pilot is so different from the rest of the show. It's bananas. Like they're almost like two completely different shows.
I feel like it's not even a very good pilot.
Yeah,
I'm
but
gonna
this
go
is
out
not
on
an
a limb
endorsement for the show. I'm not saying you should watch it. I'm letting people make their own decision based on the episode they watch. Like, do I want to watch more of this?
Yeah. I did enjoy this episode, and I was like, maybe I do actually want to watch it. So we'll see.
Yeah, this episode, just gonna say up front, I didn't hate it.
It seems
It
it's
works.
a little more tame. Yeah, it's well rounded in the way that episodes should be.
It's very season 4, which season 4 seems to be consistently like middle of the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which sometimes that's all you can ask for.
Yeah.
Well, you can always ask for more, but that doesn't
That's
mean
true.
it's realistic.
Yeah, as opposed to like season 2, which had high highs and low lows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Is season 4, are like the majority of the characters like graduated? Are they in college?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you only met like a quarter of the previous Glee club because some of them are still there. Others are graduated in New York. Others are graduated in other places, and we randomly see them every once in a while for no reason.
Okay.
So it's very weird. It's a very weird season.
Yeah.
Very strange.
Yeah.
But-
They're always like jumping back to the old characters in ways that don't really make sense. But hey, whatever.
And actually, I'm really curious to see if you got a character who you just haven't even met yet for your BuzzFeed quizzes. So
Yeah, so let's transition. What is your BuzzFeed result?
So my Glee boyfriend is Blaine.
why does everybody get Blaine?
I love Blaine. I got
My
Blaine.
boyfriend. I was like,
Yeah.
that checks out, I feel like. From seeing like one episode, but that's Darren Chris, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I never saw like a Harry Potter. I mean, I think I've seen a Harry Potter musical like once, but I was like a theater kid, so I was like on the periphery of Darren Chris, like growing up. So I'm not surprised that I got Blaine. And then the character that I am is Finn.
Oh, okay.
So you did meet both of them.
Yes, yes. I know both of them.
That's good. At least we don't have
A
to
little bit,
explain
yeah.
too much.
Right. So what is everyone drinking today?
I have Boston Lager. I'm almost done with that big 12 pack that I got last week.
I am drinking my parents' whiskey. I am home at my parents' house for the week in the basement where I was homeschooled.
Are you just drinking whiskey straight?
Yeah.
Oof.
That's a lot of whiskey. That looks like
I have a
freaking
mason
apple
jar?
juice. You look like you're drinking apple juice.
Well, he
I
hid
definitely
in a
thought
school.
it was like apple cider or something.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. Congrats. I hate whiskey straight. Like that's the worst. So good on you for being able to do that. I am drinking a Long Island iced coffee.
Ooh.
It's
How does that work?
really yummy. So I actually made it a double because I looked at it in my glass and I was like, that's not enough alcohol. So I put in, let's see, 2 ounces of vodka, 1 ounce of Kahlua, 2 ounces of Baileys. What else do I have in there? Vodka, Kahlua, Baileys. Oh, half an ounce of rum. And then I went over to Starbucks and I just got a double espresso shot. So about this much espresso with ice. It's supposed to be like 2 ounces. I think it ended up being more like 3 ounces just from how much I poured in. It's really good. And I am going to be so weird tonight because I don't ever drink espresso this late at night. And I'm going to be like on a downer because of the alcohol. So it's going to be real
That's
strange.
a fun mix.
Yeah. I was thinking about that. I was like, it's like 6:30 for her. She's drinking espresso and then alcohol. This is fun. What a Friday night.
Yeah, exactly. And I get to work tomorrow, so it's gonna be great.
And I'm drinking it's like a mango White Claw, but it's especially big.
Oh my
Yeah.
I
goodness.
thought it was big. I just thought it was the perspective.
It's like a very big version of it.
I love that.
Cool.
A giant White Claw.
Yeah.
The mango are pretty good. Yeah, I like mango White Claws.
Mangoes are so good.
Mm-hmm. All
right. So today we're talking about season 4, episode something. Girls 15. Girls and Boys on Film.
And that's a play on is the Duran Duran song?
Girls on Film,
Yeah.
which they cover later in the show.
I thought that. I was like, maybe they're gonna have the song. Nope. Didn't even have Duran Duran. They just stole the title and made it fun. Love it.
Wait, they never cover it in the
They
show?
cover it, I think, in season 5.
Not in this episode, which they used the name for.
Interesting.
Gonna be honest, I didn't even catch that it was the name of a song. Is it a song?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the only reason I know that is because I'm a Duran Duran fan. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, you liked that mashup in the Big Brother episode.
Because it's better than the original, and how dare they make it better than the original? Also, does Blaine's brother ever come back? Because I love it. I might watch that episode again. That was a good episode.
It was a good episode.
I think that's the only episode that I would probably go back and watch.
Yes.
I don't even remember what it was called. Now I'm going to figure it out.
Isn't it called
Big Brother.
Big Brother? It's called Big Brother.
Oh, that's the one that your brother was on.
Yeah.
Your little brother.
Your brother was on the Big Brother episode?
Alyssa's was, yeah.
Wait,
And
mine was?
Yeah.
She doesn't remember.
We've had I've had my siblings and my parents.
Yeah. Now I have to get at least one of my parents on the podcast. I don't have any siblings, so.
Oh, on the podcast, not on the show.
No, yeah, on the
You're not old enough for
that. You
that.
went on the episode of the
God.
show.
No.
That would be fun.
Okay. I see.
Your astonishment was a little telling there. I was like, your brother was on?
Yeah.
Yes, on the podcast.
That makes more sense.
So let's talk about the Wemma storyline, because I think that's our main storyline, unfortunately.
Again, second week in a row. That's rough.
Yeah. So we open with them singing "You're the World, All the World to Me."
I forgot that happened.
Yeah, they're in suits, and the room is rotating.
Oh,
Yeah.
where it goes upside down.
Yeah.
That was actually pretty cool. I liked watching that.
The song actually, they sounded good.
Mhm.
Is that rotating broom a specific reference to
I think that must
a
be
movie
the
that the
movie.
song is in?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Ooh.
Okay.
I didn't do the
I have no
research,
idea.
but I'm pretty sure.
I don't know. I feel like
Yeah.
it should be if it's not, but it was a cool
I-
scene.
I didn't like it only because it was making me dizzy, because my mind was trying to figure it out while I was watching it, and I was like, oh God, my
Because
head.
the broom isn't actually rotating. They're just standing on all of the different walls. When you watch it.
Yeah.
So they might have actually, I'm trying to think of how they probably hooked the camera up to the rotating broom so that it was constantly in sync.
Oh, that makes sense.
Mhm.
Yeah, because that was the other thing. Is so my brain was trying to figure out them just being there and trying to figure out, okay, where are they in the room? And then also trying to figure out, okay, how did they shoot this? It was very complex.
They probably just rigged the camera to a rotating room.
Probably.
Yeah.
They sang about New York and Capri, and it was all a dream. So
Mhm.
Will wakes up and he's like, the room's rotating or something. And
Hate him.
Yeah, the worst.
Yeah. And then he decides that we're gonna do the week of movies because movies help you escape and distract yourself from your troubles. And Kitty's like being left at the altar.
That was the one time that I appreciated Kitty.
Was it Ryder? They went, ooh, too soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kitty had a good one-liner there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So how much time has passed between when Emma left him at the altar and this episode?
Point.
We're not
thought about
sure,
it,
but
don't
a
they?
week, I think.
I literally
pretty soon.
it's either that, it has to be, because otherwise, if he let her just not talk to her and just didn't feel like looking for her for more than 2 weeks, I feel like that's a problem.
Didn't they at one point in the episode, wasn't Will talking with Finn or Finn talking with someone else about how she's been off the radar for 3 weeks or something? Or
Oh,
the number
maybe.
3 is sticking in my head, but I don't know if it's the amount of weeks or the amount of times they went to go ask her mother where she was. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
I'm gonna say it's been longer than a week though.
Yeah.
So Finn is encouraging Will to go look for Emma, and Will is she doesn't want to be found. I'm not going to force myself. And I'm for once he's respecting a woman's boundaries. We'll see how long that lasts.
Yeah, really.
And then so Finn,
She literally had to run away from him for him to do that.
yeah.
Yikes.
It was this really interesting, well, not interesting at all. It's kind of a weird take on him not going after her is somehow cowardly on his part. And I was actually, he's probably right. And she does need her space. And I don't really think that's cowardly at all. So
Yeah.
good job, I guess.
Yeah. And then Finn and Artie are we need to find her. Finn's I need to make this right. I need to talk to Emma's parents. And so they disguise themselves as the anti-ginger bullying club.
This is such an insane plot.
Yeah.
So first, Finn and Artie, right? Finn clearly thinks that he is the reason Emma left. And even in the recap makes it seem like that's why Emma left. And I guess why they did it, because they wanted the real reason to be a shock. None of us were shocked. But I just was so Finn wants to do this because he thinks that he still did something wrong. And I was I hated that whole storyline with him having kissed Emma. And then it just resolves itself after it's been 3 episodes. And it was just pointless. It goes nowhere. But
nothing after this episode.
Oh, it does go somewhere. There is
places.
There's
but I don't
more.
know, all I know is the end of the episode. I don't know anything beyond this episode, but I can imagine that it's going to come up next episode at the very least.
Yeah.
I see.
So Farty is what I'm going to call them. Don, the most obvious wigs that I have
they're the
ever
Monkees,
seen.
the band from the 60s.
It is kind of. And then I'm then they're sitting in front of these 2 ginger supremacists who would know that you're wearing a wig. They're not that dumb, because literally, okay, I just need to skip ahead to the thing about them smelling like pennies. So this was never something I knew until I think Cullen, you had brought it up a long time ago in the podcast. And that was it blew my mind. And now they're literally yeah, that's a true fact that gingers believe.
Smell like pennies.
They're literally putting the things that people make fun of gingers about and forcing these gingers to accept that. They're yes, that's true. That's true about you.
Ginger supremacists, which I like to describe as spicy white supremacists.
Yeah.
And they're oh, that's a shame. But they also point out, they're you kids, think about college only a few weeks before you graduate. You're supposed to have this figured out junior year.
Solid point.
I thought that
So
was funny.
random.
It's random because they're poking fun at the show.
Yeah,
like,
the show is making fun of itself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
yeah, but this was an insane plot line.
It was, ooh.
Okay, because gingers don't smell like pennies, right?
yeah, they don't.
Unless they're just carrying around a bunch of pennies. I don't think so.
Okay. That's why I was pretty sure.
Yeah, like that's the other thing about Glee is that like you hear them say something and then people like accept it as truth and then you're like, wait a second, is that true? It does weird things to your brain.
Pennies are copper, right?
Well,
Yeah.
they're copper plated.
Well, copper plated. They used to be copper, but they're copper plated now.
Yeah. But I don't think
blood is iron. So blood smells like iron. But did you know that there are some species on Earth that have blood that's based in copper and it actually is blue instead of red?
What?
Nobility. No, I'm kidding. Blue blood.
The police.
It's so weird. Like octopi. Octopi have blue blood because it's copper based. And I'm like,
I did know that octopi have blue blood.
Do they smell like pennies?
Maybe when you cut them open.
Yeah.
What?
We should ask like a sushi chef or something, or someone who makes calamari. Or is that squid? That's
Who
squid.
knows? Calamari is octopus too.
Yeah.
Is it? Or is it?
Yeah.
I can never
Yeah.
remember.
No, it's octopus. Something.
Octopuses and octopi are both grammatically correct. I looked that up one time when I worked a night shift
But what
job.
about octopussies?
Octopussies. That is a feminist octopus.
Good for her.
Yeah.
But a tangent.
I did a report on octopi when I was in like middle school, and I like graphically described octopus sex, and my mom was like, "You probably want to cut that out for like the full presentation." But I was like, I'm like, "Isn't this interesting? He takes the sperm and he puts it inside."
Wait, was that here? Was that in the basement?
The practice session was, but there was like a meeting of homeschoolers where we would present our presentation. We all were presenting on different marine life.
Okay.
And you chose octopi. I love cephalopods. They're so cool.
Yeah, they're so smart and they have strong emotions, and yeah.
They can change their skin color.
And you were obsessed with them having sex.
Yeah. That tentacle-born baby.
Oh my god.
No.
So it works. They give Finn and Artie where Emma's staying, which she's staying with her sister, which she did not previously have in previous flashbacks to Emma's childhood.
Yeah, I thought she was an only child.
Is a new sister?
Yeah, they kind of just made her up this episode.
Oh.
Yeah, because did we talk about Finn going to Sue and how she was like, I don't know, what makes you think I would know this? And then she like proceeds to like berate him with all these crazy insults.
Oh yeah. Like baby hating, flabby. Yeah.
So like the easy solution would be like to have it be someone she knows, but it wouldn't make sense because then someone would kind of like betray Will. So if it's someone that he doesn't know or that we don't know as an audience, I guess that makes it more like kind of inaccessible, I guess, because we're like, oh, like we didn't even know this sister existed.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I kind of just felt really convenient.
Yeah.
She's like, yep, she's at her sister's, which they made it seem like she was like right down the street. And like that house, that is not in Lima, Ohio. That is an enormous house.
That was so big.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Such a big house.
That was all fake snow, right? That was all fake, right?
Yeah.
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Felt very hallmarky.
Did you
Just so
see
big.
their jackets? That was so laughable.
Oh, they're
was
like
like-
wide open jackets.
Yeah.
Like you'd be
I was
getting the cold breeze in your jacket.
You'd be shivering while holding up your freaking what's it called? Boombox. Yeah.
Can you even imagine like trying to film in 90-degree weather and fake snow with a full-on winter jacket? Ugh.
True.
That would be awful.
Yeah.
So Will goes to Emma, and in an homage to the Jonas Brothers "What a Man Gotta Do" music video.
Yes, because that's where it came from.
Not the movie Say Anything.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
I thought it was High Fidelity. I think you're right. Say Anything.
Yeah, Say Anything.
Yeah.
He raises a boombox. He has the Glee Club sing "In Your Eyes" to Emma.
This is like the most private moment he's having with Emma right now, besides having sex with her. And like, there are just these kids doing oohs and ahs in the background. I was like, and then he took forever to dismiss them. I was like, what are you doing?
He actually does have to tell them to go. He's like, guys, go away.
Imagine
So
like,
weird.
hey mom, like coming home. Hey mom, hey honey, what did you do today? I joined my choir teacher who was looking after his wife who left him at the altar, and I sang backup for him.
Oh my
I'd be like,
god.
oh, I'm so glad that we're paying dues for you to be in that club.
Healthy boundaries.
But
Healthy
then again,
boundaries do not exist on Glee.
but this comes from a man whose best friend is his former student who is 19 years old. So he has no
Okay.
adult friends.
So Finn, just because I know nothing about the show, Finn graduated with the others.
Yeah.
And then did he join the army and then fail out of the army?
Yes.
Yeah, he shot himself in the leg or something
Yeah, he was
during boot
Okay.
camp.
honorably discharged, I think, officially. They
Yeah.
talk about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
And
that's
then
what
now
happened.
he's-
Gun safety
Is
people.
he like working at the school now?
No,
He's
he
an
doesn't get.
unpaid volunteer.
Yeah, he can't be
Oh.
paid. So he just hangs around his old school.
That's fun.
Yeah.
And he just hangs out with his best friend, his former teacher.
Yep.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
like 20 years his senior.
Except his best friend, former teacher, hasn't even been there for the last, 3 months?
Yeah, at least. But that's a whole other thing. But I guess the kind of context is like he was gone for a few months doing something he thinks is important in DC. And then he comes back literally like days before the wedding. So that's, when we get to
That would
why
not
Emma
happen.
is like, yeah, you came back and I had no idea who you were. I don't think that makes sense. But, did they have enough time to even talk? We don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they have this
What if-
conversation where Emma comes out and she basically says, like, how else do you say you came back and I have no idea who you are anymore?
Yeah. It doesn't, like, it felt like when we first saw him come back, she was literally like planning for the wedding that was happening like at the end of the week or early the next week or something. And it's like, yeah, I don't know.
There's no backup for what she said. Like, we don't see any scenes with them together and him acting differently than he normally does.
Right.
So it feels like an excuse to have that they gave her, like, why she ran away from the altar. When in fact, there's a myriad of actual legitimate
Right.
excuses. Like, you didn't help me with this wedding. It was so overwhelming. I didn't.
That's a
I couldn't
perfect
handle
excuse.
it. Yeah.
And we see it. We don't even
Exactly.
need her to tell us. Like, she's going to say it so she can tell him, but we know, like, we can see. I think that's the perfect solution. That's logical.
But no.
And yet we have to go with the illogical conclusion that nobody was looking for or even like remotely thought was going to happen, because there was no evidence of that in the show previously. So
Yeah. I thought she was going to throw down and be like, this is what happened. Nope. She just made something up.
So then Will is all happy and they're going to start over. They're going to go to a movie.
Oh, yes, they can
think
get
he's
to know each
happy.
other.
yeah, they're
And I
just
was like,
getting to know each other again.
Going to a movie, not a great way to get to know somebody.
No, I agree.
So I
I
say
never get why
this.
people.
I say this as I sit next to my boyfriend. Our first date was going to a movie, but like we both recognized like, oh, that wasn't a good idea. So we literally like went to dinner like immediately, like a couple days after. So I know this to be a fact. Not a good way.
I feel like if you do,
we saw Jumanji 2, and he hadn't even seen the first one yet. But he ended up seeing
romance.
If you go to a movie for your first date, you have to do like movie and a dinner. So you
exactly.
Can talk about it.
But they're like,
you can talk about the movie.
And they're like, oh no, we'll go see a movie. And I'm like, and then they're holding hands. I'm like, that didn't solve anything.
No. I just went to go because I've been thinking about this a lot because so many people will like go to the movies on their first date, but like you don't get to talk to them until after the movie. The movie could be bad, and then you'll like be like, oh, this date was ruined because this movie was bad. And then if you have like a really like a visceral emotional reaction to the movie, because I usually go to the movies like by myself because I know sometimes I get a little emotional and I don't want to like do that in front of people. And so the idea of like meeting someone for the very first time and then like crying my eyes out during a movie.
You know, I'm like, are you done that at the end of Jumanji 2 just to see how he would react.
That was so beautiful.
Oh my God, Danny DeVito.
True art. But the other day I saw I don't know, it's this movie that just came out called Titan, and it's a French film, and the plot is absolutely insane, and it's like a very gory like body horror movie in French. And I went to a matinee of it, and it was me and then these two guys who were seeing it together, and then another pair, and they were either both on a date or at least one of the pairs were on a date, I think.
To go see a body horror movie.
A body horror movie. Yes, I was like
the language of love, French.
The language of love, truly.
Red,
like
blood, love. Yeah.
It's passionate.
Passionate. Just like Jumanji, honestly.
Exactly.
Jumanji 2 to be specific.
Yeah, the first one, not romantic. The second one.
Très romantic.
Is the second one... Are there 3 or are there just 2?
I think there's just 2. They might be making a third one. I don't know.
Okay. I can remember how many they'd cranked out yet.
I think isn't there 3?
Well, there's the original Jumanji, but I think that doesn't count.
And then there's 2 after.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they're all separate stories, so I always include the original.
Yeah.
That's good.
So then Finn is like, oh, like he's asking how everything went with Emma, and he's like, did she say anything about me? And he's like, why? And he's like, because I kissed her. And he's like,
so
what?
Dumb. That's like the dumbest thing. He should have just been like, oh, no reason.
Nothing.
Well,
he was so broken up about it.
Yeah, he had to confess to his friend, which I do think in order for them to continue being friends, if they're best friends, you would have to tell him, you know?
Yeah. I feel like that he probably should have done it before the wedding, and then maybe they could have like stopped the wedding and talked about everything, and then like replanned the wedding together, but you know, that's not enough drama.
Yeah, but well, also it would have been better if even they did do that and everyone was like, no, I don't care. That's not the reason. And then she still fucking leaves. Like, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. That would be good.
And so he's like, I'm so sorry. She was panicking and I was calming her down and I just kissed her, you know, like you do.
He made calm a woman down, just kiss her.
Yeah, just shut her up.
I'm just thinking of like customer service jobs when you get like a really upset customer and then all you just like
Then everything. Like, what the fuck?
So then Will is just like upset and walks away.
Actually, I felt a lot of emotions between the two actors in that scene, which I wasn't expecting. I was kind of like, oh, this is going to be really weird and cheesy. But then I I felt like a lot of Finn's like self-hate and Will's disappointment. And it was,
he did a really good job with that.
Yeah, it was actually interesting to watch that scene for me. Just because I feel like the two of them did a good job together.
See, I actually thought that, like, even though I don't care for Matthew Morrison, who plays Will Schuester, just because I hate Will Schuester, but like, I feel like his facial expression during that was like, it was disappointment, but it kind of felt like he was almost going to be like, it's okay, we'll figure this out. Nope. And I was kind of surprised by that. I was like, oh, silent treatment. And he did the like, kind of like sigh and like shaking his head as he walked by, like disappointment with a capital D. I was like, that was pretty good. I was genuinely very invested in that moment.
I liked the performance.
Yeah, I think Corey Monteith is a great actor, and he really sold the scene. Yeah,
for sure.
I just don't know why he would, because he was the one who was telling Will that he needed to like do some grand gesture and win her back.
Yeah,
right?
use movie logic to win her back. And she was like, oh, that's such a good idea, because it always works in real life.
And so then it did work. And then he's like, okay, now that you fixed everything, let me tell you, I kissed her.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's never been really known for thinking ahead.
No, not at all. Yeah. I mean, that's why he kissed Emma. He wasn't thinking at all.
He wasn't thinking about his best friend.
So that's basically like the Wemma arc.
Yeah, Emma's excuse makes no sense, and I agree with Alyssa. It just, we saw what was happening, and he chose to do that. They both chose to go those separate paths for those few months, but like he left her to plan a wedding by herself, and she was stressed out, and he clearly didn't seem like he wanted to help. He literally said like, it was like, how's my busy little bride, or something really condescending. And like, we can see it, Emma, just tell us, blink twice if you're in danger.
That makes me think of that Vine with the dog, like blink once if you're Hitler. And you blink, oh my God. We love a good Vine reference here on Gleeboot.
All right,
I laugh, but I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. We'll send you some more Vine compilations.
Thank you.
To educate.
Yeah, education. So this isn't really a plot, but it's something that happens is they sing a bunch of movie songs. It's not really connected to any plot. So
apparently it was the mash off. And I was like, I must have missed that, because all of a sudden it was like, oh yeah, it's girls versus boys. You're doing mashups. And I was like, what?
That was never explained in the assignment.
It was, you're doing movies. There's going to be teams. That's all I got from it.
Same.
And you're competing to be in Artie's short film.
Yes.
Yeah.
Artie.
Not even breadsticks.
A micro budget film, actually. It's not a short film. It's a micro budget film.
So
which I was confused, because like, if it's girls versus boys and the winner gets to be in his film is either going to be an all girls film or an all boys film.
Yeah.
Like, theoretically.
That's true. I didn't even think about that, because I literally totally forgot that it was about Artie's film.
I think it was such a throwaway plot to be like, it's a competition. You have to do a mashup and it's girls versus boys. There was like one line. And then I also forgot like halfway through the episode.
Yeah.
that was the point of why they were singing these songs.
And also, like, who cares about Artie's film?
Yeah, why is that a prize?
Did he direct that horrible Christmas special?
He's like
yes.
the I can't think of the word director.
Bad.
Okay.
That might be the word.
That is, a word. Not the one I was thinking of, but
amateur.
I want to say
auteur. Is already an auteur already?
It's the one, like, you have the group of people and they all have specific roles, and he's the director.
The designated.
Donkey.
We're getting closer, but it's like this weird term where it's like something about coins.
I love this game. Okay, something about coins. Is he like a self-appointed director that rhymes with coin?
It does.
No, I don't know, you guys.
minted?
I want to say like it's like the same sort of thing as a dime a dozen, but it's for a specific person.
Well, Artie is not a
so
dime.
Stupid.
I love this. Let's keep going.
No.
Okay. If any of our listeners out there know what I'm thinking, please let us know.
5 weeks from now, you'll get your answer.
Or director, or is it just a word?
Are you thinking of an adjective?
And I feel like it's an adjective. It has nothing to do with him being a director. It has to do with him being like a specific person that is stereotyped into this role.
Okay.
Adjective director.
I think I know what you're talking about, but I don't know the word that I'm thinking of. So, okay.
Neither do I. We're on the same page.
We are. I loved this. This is great. Alyssa's guessing game corner.
It's gonna drive me crazy.
So this is what the espresso and alcohol is doing to you.
Yeah. Making me very giggly.
Dang.
And, you know, taking away my vocabulary.
So Joe and Sugar are there. They're back.
Yeah, I literally wrote Sugar's back. Holy crap. She has like the best line in this whole movie
What did she say?
show. She says, we should do the artist so we don't have to sing.
And I wrote it down.
I loved
I wrote
it.
that same line down.
I loved it. But
It's
yeah.
so good.
So there's a couple weird one-liners or like one-off segments for a bunch of the kids. Unique mentioned something about the movie The Crying Game. I don't know if anyone's aware of this movie. Anybody?
No.
Heard of it, but I don't know what it
The
is.
Crying Game. I'm pretty sure there are like some I think the one character does sing a song because I think they're a performer. But basically, so it's a movie that had to do with the Irish Republican Army. So like this is I think the 80s that the movie took place. And there was a character who turned out to be transgender. It was this big reveal because you end up seeing this person's penis on screen. And so I'm like, this is a really deep dig for Glee. And then also for Unique. I was like, why is this person watching that movie? It's not for children. But anyway, that was that.
Someone else, I don't know if Sugar was the one who said the artist line.
Yeah.
I think it was her also later in the episode who was like, oh, I hope they do like some movie and then Howard the Duck. Oh, which I also thought was like,
was that
super...
her or was that Brittany? But it was, yes, I remember. I don't remember what the first thing was, but then I heard the Howard the Duck and I was like, what? Oh God.
I was like, she's seen Howard the Duck?
Yeah, that's also not for children. It may look like it's for children. Also, can we just quickly talk about Sam's Nicolas Cage impressions? So good. I thought it was actually good. And Kitty's like, that's the worst impression. I was like, Kitty, you shut up. That was
Somebody
great.
else was like, do you even know Nicolas Cage?
Yeah. I thought that person says, I don't know who Nicolas Cage is. So I'm glad that you got that impression instead. Because I was like, how do you not know who Nicolas Cage is? National Treasure? Anybody?
Yeah.
Sugar's back. We should do the artist so we don't have to sing. So good.
So they're gonna sing movie songs, and if you got a bunch of 90s kids like these are supposed to be in a room and told them to sing movie songs, you get some Aladdin, you get some Lion King, you get some Little Mermaid.
Well, so if they're sophomores in 2013, would they be like 1998 probably? So like barely 80s or 90s kids, right? But
yeah, but
they would have
grew
grown
up
up.
with the DVDs.
Yeah, so that's what I was thinking. I was like, okay, like, but they do a lot of classic rock.
Yeah.
But those are typically, I don't know. I was gonna say they're typically because like the theme is supposed to be about classic rock, but I guess maybe that's not true. I don't know. I am also baffled as to how they chose these. Because like, okay, what's another option they would have done besides Disney? Like, I can't. Or okay, oh no, because that's a 90s movie. Maybe
Like,
Titanic.
Grease? Oh yeah, Titanic.
I was thinking Titanic, Armageddon. Titanic?
Yeah.
You're here. There's
Oh.
nothing
Oh, And I know that my
Keep thinking
fault.
of like, okay, that they have to be musicals, but they're not. They're just, it's
No,
just,
they don't.
And they don't have to be musicals. The
Yeah.
whole
It's just-
point is that it's supposed to be like from movies.
Favorite
and so
songs
they
from
do a
your
bunch of
favorite
Moulin Rouge.
movies. I can guarantee I didn't even see Top Gun until I was like 20 when I saw Top
Mhm.
Gun. They're singing a
Oh,
song
really?
from Top Gun. Yeah, like I knew the
knew-
song.
Top Gun and Ghost. Like, I watched those when I was real young because my mom watched them with me.
Yeah, like, I
they're
feel
her
like
favorites.
I had
No.
seen parts of Top Gun because my dad would watch it, but I never
Mhm.
sat down and watched it. And I didn't ever connect those two songs until I was in like college because I was like, oh, I get it. I guess Footloose, when we get to that at the end, that makes sense.
That makes
I
more
remember seeing
sense.
Footloose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Footloose.
I could see even like Johnny Be Good from Back to the Future because that's a movie you would show kids.
That would
Right.
be really good.
But that's the thing is like, I'm like, what more recently could they have done? Like,
They could have
there's
done
not a
some of the
lot-
chanting from Avatar.
Because I think it used to be very popular for artists to do a song that would be a feature song for a film. I don't think that's done so much. Like it's done like for Disney. Disney will do like an artist will do a cover of one of the songs.
Mhm.
Mhm. I know.
I just
it's
I can't
more.
think of it.
It's more of a thing to do songs for credits now, not during
Yes.
the movie.
Exactly. So that's why I'm like, I can't even think of anything. So I guess they do have to pick 80s and 80s movies because
Yeah. And there's not even like a lot of classics these days. Like, you know, there's a lot of movies that you're like, oh, it's a classic, everyone knows it. But there's so much media these days
yeah.
that there's just not classics anymore.
If you
I
did the
mean-
Gleeboot, they would be singing songs from like Tangled, Frozen, and they'd be singing the Justin Timberlake song from the Trolls movie.
Oh,
Well,
God,
this is
yeah.
one of the big differences, okay? They couldn't do Disney because Disney didn't own Glee at that time.
And now they do.
now they do.
Disney's Glee. We haven't mentioned that in a long time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So technically
There's
you
so
are
many
on a Disney
Disney
podcast.
God. Phew.
Yeah, so I guess like it does make sense then now that we talk about it, but it was baffling in the moment. I was like, what? Also, so Tom Cruise. I don't know if I've ever expressed this to any of you. Casey, this will be your first time hearing this for sure. I
Okay.
hate Tom Cruise with a passion.
Mhm.
And you know why? Well, one, he's a Scientologist, and
Yes.
you know, well, I'm not going to go into that.
We're gonna
Two,
get canceled by the Church of Scientology.
probably worse than that. Two, he's just like notoriously kind of just seems like a shithead. Three, he has a tooth in the middle of his face, and it bugs me. Alyssa, you know this?
Yep.
Cullen, do you know this?
No.
I promise I won't send you a picture because normally I do. But his teeth are shifted so much
No.
that his front tooth is right here.
Yep.
No.
Yes.
Google it.
It's
I
real.
will
It's a real
absolutely
thing.
be Googling.
But I think this is one of the things, like, why people find him so attractive, but they don't know why, is because he's so symmetrical, except for that one spot, which makes him
Mm.
slightly off kilter.
Interesting.
And I think
Cool.
people find that attractive.
I also know that his teeth, so he was in movies in like the early 80s, and his teeth were all jacked up. And then he got them fixed, probably thanks to the Church of Scientology. But they couldn't like move them over? I don't know.
Orthodontia wasn't that great back then.
That's probably true. But it still bothers me to this day. So yeah, I was not happy with them being like, oh yeah, we love Tom Cruise. I'm like, pick a better role model, please.
Yeah.
But the mashup was kind of cute. I thought it was kind of cute.
So
where did they get these costumes?
Great question. Where did they get the costumes?
No one knows.
They were pretty good.
Okay, so
they never explain.
I saw it, like, figured out Top Gun. What's the other one?
The one we did
classic scene.
We talked about it in Scott's class, our first semester of grad school. I can never remember what the movie's called.
Risky Business.
Yes, Risky Business.
Oh.
Yeah.
Were we supposed to watch that?
No.
Okay.
No, I think we just talked or wait, were we?
Just talked
we
about
might
it.
have
We weren't supposed to watch it, but we talked about it.
I don't think I've seen that movie.
Yeah. But yeah, it's the one where he's like, you see like a living room. Also, it's from that same Jonas Brothers music video.
What a man gotta do.
Yeah. So basically, like, you slide in with like the white shirt and the whitey tighties, and he starts singing that song. Do you know that scene? It's referenced a lot.
Yeah,
in pop
it's
culture
even in like pizza commercials and
I
also,
realized that
children
scene is referenced, but I've never seen the scene.
Right.
So like,
but these are children running around in their underwear in the middle of the school day.
To be honest, I was a little bit happy that we were seeing the boys' legs instead of the girls' legs this time.
True. It was not nice dress code appropriate.
Yeah, no.
Before we get
and actually,
there,
go ahead.
They do sing "Shout."
Oh, I forgot about that. It was horrible.
In the school.
Yeah, Blaine and Brittany are like, we need to team up and do a mashup together. And Tina's like, we should sing a song with the River Run from Working Girl, which made me think of Work Hard or Die Trying Girl, the best episode of Bob's Burgers. But they sing "Shout." It just happens. Like, it's just a song.
Because they say we should team up, but they're not even talking about for the actual like mashup competition. They're just talking about like right here, right now.
Yeah, they're like, let's do something together. And I'm like, you have the rest of the semester to sing together.
Yeah.
Like, you have a competition coming up. Are you practicing for it? No. Wow, shocker. But so they do that. And then at the end, so it happens, whatever. It's not very good. But then Artie's like, you do know that's not a mashup. And I was like, it was supposed to be a mashup? So that was deeply disturbing that they could even put in that effort.
Mm-mm.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
But yeah, we get the boys mashup where they're singing around and singing in their underwear. And it is refreshing that it is the boys and not the girls, because the girls have been in some weird situations.
Yeah. But it's the choreography is really cute. And they seem to like be having a lot of fun, which is, I guess, the point of the competition. Because clearly they're not competing for anything worthwhile or practicing. Yeah.
So it's a mashup of Old Time Rock and Roll and Danger Zone.
Mm-hmm. It was good. It was cute.
It was cute.
Yeah.
Made me want to watch Top Gun.
Can't say that that's the effect it had on me. It made me think a lot about that crooked tooth situation, but
it made Hannah jump on a couch and talk about how much she loves her partner.
Oh, and they're not even together anymore. Yikes. And Oprah doesn't have a show, so
yeah, all things change, all things pass, including Glee, yet we're still here talking about it. And so the girls do a performance. It's barely a mashup.
Yeah.
Like,
well, and it's not an original mashup. It's the exact same like medley that's in Moulin Rouge.
Oh, is it?
Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend and Material Girl. It's the exact same arrangement.
See, I didn't realize I didn't know that. I only knew the one from Moulin Rouge.
It was from Moulin Rouge.
Yeah. Because they did Come What May from Moulin Rouge. Yeah. And then I guess they were like, oh, what if we just like keep this Moulin Rouge thing going? And they do the same
mashup. That's so funny.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's so lazy.
I mean, I guess it's technically a mashup, but it's
not unique.
Moulin Rouge is mostly like, it's like a jukebox musical. So it's like mostly songs that already exist.
Yeah.
But like mashed up together. I don't know. It did feel lazy to me. But yeah, I love that song.
Because Glee itself is a jukebox musical. But like when they do mashups, they're unique.
Yeah.
But this was
the exact same mashup. Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a reference to the 2021 Camila Cabello Cinderella, where Idina Menzel sings "Material Girl."
I still haven't seen it. Oh my god,
she does it. It's actually Idina Menzel is actually her and Minnie Driver are like the best parts of that movie.
So is Idina Menzel the evil stepmother?
Yeah,
makes sense. Ooh. Checks out.
Yeah, so she has an original song and she sings "Material Girl" as well.
Interesting.
To watch it.
So yeah. So the girls sing "Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend" / "Material Girl," and then Mr. Shu decides that they all win.
And then someone, I don't even know who it was, they're like, "Why do you always do this?"
It was Blaine. He's like, "Why do you always do this?" And Tina is like, "What?"
It's so great.
And he's like, does he do that every time?
I guess maybe.
Yeah, he does a lot of like, "You're all winners, you're all special."
Oh. Yeah. Well, there is a sign in the hallway that you see a couple times in the episode that says "We're number one." So that maybe that fits.
Mm-hmm.
And so they all get to be in Artie's movie.
Yeah. Okay. So here's why. Because he's like, "Oh, I realized that I needed a lot more bodies." I'm like, it's a micro budget film. Like, it's going to be 2 seconds long. Right. But it's going to be like 2 seconds long. You're not going to feature everybody. Just pick people.
You can do micro budget and have it be a long film as long as nobody cares about getting paid.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's going to be all these children.
Yep.
Why is he making like the prize getting the chance to be in his film when he needs them to be in his movie?
Yeah.
Like
that's a good point. That sounds like a con man thing.
Yeah. He's like, "You get the chance to be in my movie. Everyone wants to be in my movie, but y'all get to be in my movie."
JK, I need you to be in my movie.
You.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
And then they all sing "Footloose."
Again, cute.
Annoying. Oh, thank you.
Well, yeah, you thought it was annoying. Totally. I mean, I got to sing along to it, so that that works for me. But what did you find annoying about it? I'm curious.
It was cute. I was just like, well, of course this is a movie song performance.
It's like one of 7 options, I guess, that they had.
Yeah.
At the very beginning. Oh, sorry.
They always play "Footloose" at like weddings and dances and stuff, and it's actually a very hard song to dance to.
Yeah,
I love dancing to "Footloose." It's fun.
It's fast.
Yeah, it is. It's like the same as
Please don't make us guess something again.
Or something.
Oh, okay. You mean the phone for old people? That was a great joke. Oh my gosh.
What?
You guys don't know the jitterbug phone?
No.
Cullen, help me out.
What is a jitterbug phone?
Am I that old? Oh my
god. One of those like you can only call like 911 or like one person?
I actually don't know, but it's like consumer cellular. Anybody know about this? No? Okay. Oh. Jitterbug Flip 2, best big button flip phone for seniors. I love these things. I'm probably gonna have one of these one day. I'm gonna put it in the chat.
I've been home with my parents and they've been watching a lot of Fox News and
So you're gonna see Consumer Cellular, Jitterbug, Life Alert.
My favorite ad though was for if you get canceled online, how to defend yourself.
No.
Oh, Cullen, we need
Oh
to
my
talk
God.
about this. What?
Oh, wait, what do you do?
You
Yeah.
call like defendmyonlinereputation.com or something. It's like my reputation was destroyed online. It's destroying my business, my career.
Because I posted something racist. Because I'm a terrible
this, like,
person. I
Just
love
like your average person watching Fox News? Are they trying to target like celebrities?
It was
I
just
think-
your average
Who's the
person watching
audience?
Fox News.
probably your average Republican business owner who is uber conservative and super racist online, and no one's having
super
any of your
racist.
stuff. Probably older, yeah,
Mhm.
or I don't know, younger, because you never know.
Yeah, but if you're younger, you're gonna realize that that commercial is just like money grubbing. Like you're not gonna be able
I
to
don't know.
pick yourself up from that.
People our age are dumb.
I
yeah,
will
but
say
people our age also don't watch Fox News on
They do.
but on like with commercials, like on the TV where
That's
that
probably
commercial
true. That's
Watch
is.
people.
Yeah.
yeah,
They're watching clips of Sean Hannity on YouTube.
I will say Tucker Carlson's laugh is the most unsettling thing I've ever
I've
witnessed.
never heard it. I've only heard him screaming and being like, "Mah, mah, mah, mah." That's what I hear.
So
My Tucker
annoying.
Carlson impression.
My dad calls it the yelling channel. He watches it, but that's what he calls it.
Confusing.
At least
Mixed
at least he's
messages.
self-aware.
Yeah.
A little.
But I mean, they have to yell because it's a lot of old people watching. Yay! I got an old person joke in there, and I feel bad because old people don't deserve that. Some of them.
Ageism.
The ones, I don't know. The ones watching Fox News maybe
Maybe
do
they
deserve
do.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they
Guys, you
yeah.
remember that word that I couldn't think of? I still
Oh.
can't think of it, but I think it
Oh.
incorporates penny.
That doesn't help. That makes it worse.
Penny,
You
Penny
literally
Penny
Picks.
filmmaker, Penny director.
Penny something direct.
Penny Dreadful. He is a Penny Dreadful director. That was a horror movie, that Christmas special. So I remember hearing about, apparently, I think it was during this number, Cord like kicked Tina in the face when they were practicing.
Wait, what?
For the Footloose thing,
Yeah.
I can imagine that, or like kick someone in the shin. I was expecting
Yeah.
that to happen.
Maybe it was the shin, but he definitely kicked somebody. So
Maybe I should not have found this hilarious as I did, but at the beginning of the song, when they were going between the shoes and them like clapping their toes together, and then they showed Artie clapping the shoes together with his hands, I just was
Oh.
like, oh.
Well, there
What?
was a weird continuity thing way earlier in the Wemma storyline where like when Finn comes to Artie like crosses his legs, but he's already crossing his legs before he grabs his leg. So there was like a weird continuity issue there with the actor.
Gotta love continuity issues where the editor and the director are like, well, we can't do anything about it. This is the best.
This is the
performance.
best shot we got. Yeah.
yeah. So they sing Footloose, and it's interesting because Jake seems super depressed during this number, which ties into our next storyline, our
did
favorite love
not-
triangle.
I actually
Yes.
didn't even notice that he was feeling depressed.
Because it would cut to him and because it cut to people in pairs on like the stage thing,
Rafters.
the rafters, whatever, and they'd be dancing. And Ryder was like doing all these moves, and Jake was just like standing there.
Yeah, it was
Oh.
weird.
Yeah, I
Um,
didn't put that together.
And then Marley and Ryder dance nearby, and then Jake looks at them like sadly.
Wah.
Yeah. So our favorite love triangle, Jarly versus Miter.
Miter? Okay.
Miner's nice. I think.
Rarely.
I almost
Rarely.
said Jiter, which is the Jake Ryder ship.
Well, I mean, they're hurting for each other too.
Yeah. And then so Marley tells Kitty that Ryder kissed her. And
okay, yeah. She's like, I have something to tell you.
I'm like,
And
why
then-
would you tell Kitty?
Kitty crosses her fingers. I'm like, girl, we already can't trust you. You don't have to cross your fingers. We know.
Yeah, I'm like, why aren't you friends with Unique? Wouldn't you tell Unique or Brittany or literally any warm body before Kitty who gave you an eating disorder?
Who is cold-blooded?
But then they take all of like the stress out of this. Like, there's no drama at the end of this episode about that situation.
Because then after Jake is all like, I have a confession about Valentine's Day. It was all Ryder's idea, but this is something I came up with myself. We're going to sing a duet, your favorite duet from your favorite movie, Unchained Melody from Ghost.
Okay, but first she says
romance.
Oh,
and she says The Hunger Games, and I went, girl, that is not
favorite
a romance. That is a horror movie.
Romance? No. Actually, I do love Ghost. It is one of my guilty pleasure romance movies, and I love that song. And I love that scene.
So my first Valentine's Day with Lyle, we actually went to go see Ghost at like a local like dinner theater place. So it was cute. It was my first time seeing the movie all the way through. It's pretty action packed. I didn't expect that.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a good movie.
Yeah, so they don't sing Keep Your Eyes Open or Safe and Sound from Hunger Games.
Or the weird lullaby that she sings to Rue.
Yeah.
The one about the hanging tree. Surprisingly, they don't sing it.
Yeah.
Missed opportunity.
Lionsgate was like, absolutely not.
But they sing Unchained Melody, but she sometimes imagines Ryder singing it to her. So she's
She like
torn.
totally dissociates. She's like outside of her body watching this.
Yeah, she's Patrick Swayze in Ghost watching these things happen.
It was very strange, actually. I was like, this is super cute, and I'm really into it because I love Ghost and I love everything about this scene.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was actually like rooting for she and Jake at that moment, and then Ryder interrupts, just like he interrupted her. And you know what? I was not into it after that.
Yeah, and she imagines them kissing, and it's like a lot. Like she's dissociating and like imagining at the same time while like bumping foreheads and noses with Jake. I was like, what an imagination. And then also having to do the clay.
The potter, yeah.
Yeah.
She's good at multitasking.
She's very good at multitasking.
Yeah. So then she tells Jake, she's like, I knew it was Ryder, and then he kissed me and I let him kiss me, which that's not what it seemed like in the actual scene.
No, no.
It seemed like she was very
Ryder
taken
just kissed
aback.
her, and she was like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah. Because so just because someone like doesn't push you away doesn't necessarily mean they're letting you kiss them. They're probably in shock if they weren't expecting it. So it's like,
I feel like this is just one of those times where this show is like, oh, it's all the girl's fault again.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, like,
not good.
Yeah, because
for me.
because it's not like, no, they're really blaming her, even though like he's the one who initiated. Glee.
Yeah. Because
God damn it.
I remember one time this is kind of a downer, but I was like kind of sexually assaulted, and this person was like, well, you didn't. I was like, hey, and they were like, well, you didn't push away right away. And I'm like, I pushed away a couple seconds later.
Yeah.
There's like a shock at first.
Yeah, you're like, wait, what's happening to me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So like, I definitely side with Marley in that, like, this is not her fault. Like, Ryder just kissed her, and she's it's the middle of the hallway. What's she gonna do? I mean, she has every right to scream and be like, "Get off me!" But someone who's shy like Marley isn't gonna do that.
Yeah, because like, I mean, it could be more complex when it's just like, oh, she's blaming herself, but we know Glee is blaming her for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. So
Then
Jake is then upset
Jake's
and he walks away.
walks out.
And she's like, don't leave. And then she's crying. And you can see the actress is like, I want to put my hands on my face but there's mud on my hands, so I can't.
Yeah.
So she like puts them close and then is like,
she's like, yeah. I noticed that too. But I'd probably do the same thing.
yeah. So that's really where the love triangle storyline ends.
Yeah, it's I didn't really care. I loved it. She thought the Hunger Games was a romance. That's what I got out of it.
Funny.
It was so good.
I remember being really pissed off about the Hunger Games and like the love triangle that was in that book series.
Yeah.
I was unhappy.
So
Oh, go ahead.
BYU, they now have their own group, but there was on Studio C, there was like a team of comedians. They're like the BYU comedians. And they did 3 skits that were like Hunger Games the musical. And it was like Katniss, Peeta, and Gail all had a song. And Katniss' song is, she's like, District 12 is in ruins. Like all my friends are refugees. But then she's like, now my greatest question is, who's going to be my husband? And then she's like, Gail or Peeta, I'm 17, not getting any younger. Like,
That's so funny.
like, I need to
God.
pick, and I can't wait till the end of the revolution. And he just
Those
picks right now.
Mormons. Hilarious. No, so I actually had like a hankering for some reason to watch the second movie. And so I just recently watched that.
So good.
I mostly was like, I remember like going to see this in the theaters kind of thing. Not so much like, this is a good movie.
Yeah.
You know.
But that was the one with Finnick, right?
Yeah.
That's Finnick's first.
It was fine. You know, I was like, I remember this. Yeah. Anytime Gail shows his face, I was like, come on, like you could do better.
Oh,
Gail, remember when you told Miley Cyrus to behave yourself at a red carpet event?
Was this before or after they decided they didn't want to be married? And then they got married and they got divorced.
that was so messy.
It's so messy.
I just know the song Malibu is about him, where she says, never got boatin', don't know how they be floating, and sometimes I'm so scared of what I don't understand. And I'm like, boats? You don't understand boats, Miley?
I don't understand boats. Fuck. They float somehow.
So let's go to New York. So we have the New York stuff.
Mhm.
Welcome to New York. Welcome to New York.
Which will
You're
be
welcome.
covered in the
That's a-
Gleeboot.
It's a T Swift reference
It
for
would.
you.
It would be.
Yeah, they don't do nearly enough Taylor Swift. And then I was like, maybe she really wasn't like that big of a thing until like I was in college, which would have been
She
like,
was that big though. At least in high
You
school. I
think?
remember her being that big. Yeah.
She was big.
was
I
she
think-
too
but I think it was
country
like a-
then?
Yeah.
Maybe.
And I think it was still kind of the thing where like if you liked Taylor Swift, it was like
People made fun of you or something.
basic. Yeah.
Mm.
Like she was big, but I don't know if she was necessarily like cool.
Because she was like a woman.
Yeah,
And, like,
and
are you-
music. And she won over Beyonce,
Country.
and Kanye had every right to interrupt her during her speech. Yeah.
Kanye. You know all that beef.
So there's just a random fantasy sequence. Well, they're gonna watch a bunch of movies because they're snowed in. Brody's working. Adam is there. Adam from the Adam's Apples. Santana's there, and so they're gonna watch a bunch of movies with Kurt and Rachel.
Yeah, we discover that Santana's living there rent free.
Yeah.
And I was like,
How long?
her mom gave her a shitload of cash. Have her help out.
Yeah, she just moved there a couple episodes ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
But
actually
rent-free-
have no idea how long in show that actually is, but
Mm-hmm.
It was like, yeah, it was before Valentine's Day. Yeah. So yeah, she's living there rent free. She picked out a bunch of movies all about pregnancy from their DVD collection. And Rachel's like, I don't want to watch any of those movies.
But doesn't she say, like, she starts talking to Kurt, like, yeah, Rachel's really like gotten fat. And she's basically like saying like she's got a bun in the oven. Like she quite literally says that. And like Kurt is just like,
yeah,
nothing.
He's like, she's bloating like a pumpkin or something like that. And it's not just the orange spray tan.
Yeah.
And she keeps calling Brody like a mannequin or made out of plastic.
Yep.
And how hairless he is. And
yeah. Oh God.
Santana and I, we on the same page.
Yeah. Santana clocks him so good. It's terrific.
And Kurt's like, how about we watch Moulin Rouge? And then we get the fantasy sequence of Kurt and Blaine singing Come What May.
So good.
I definitely I liked it. I didn't love it, but it was okay.
Mm-hmm.
That was interesting because Adam was there.
Yeah.
Kurt's fantasizing about Blaine.
Yeah. So first, I do not like Moulin Rouge. I've never gotten through the whole movie. I'm can't.
Surprised.
I know people always say that. I couldn't get through it. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just not a fan of Ewan McGregor singing. I don't know.
That's the best part.
But
he's such a good singing voice.
So that's the first thing. The second thing is like, I actually thought, because I was like, oh, this is a song from a movie. It's Blaine. I was like, oh, this is his performance. Like maybe he's practicing or something for the competition, because at that point I had missed that they were doing groups. And then Kurt's there. Well, first I was like, what is this production design? Like, Blaine, come on. Like, where'd you get all those props? And then Kurt's there. I was like, now this is interesting. I was like, oh, this is not real. So it took me a little while. It was confusing.
It was a little confusing. Like, I got it when they were both there, but I don't remember why it started with Blaine.
Good question.
Okay.
Was he singing the Ewan McGregor part, or because he was singing, because Kurt was singing?
I actually don't know. I haven't seen that movie in a long time.
Kurt was probably singing the Nicole Kidman part.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because this one was really confusing because of there's like, I think the word is diegetic.
Yeah.
But it's like music that's part of like the performances that they were doing, where it was like, oh, they're like performing these. So then this one was kind of weird because it was like, they're still doing a movie song. They're still like adhering to like the theme, but this is just like happening inside of Kurt's head.
Exactly. Yeah. Like that's why it took me a little while to get what was happening. And then Kurt was there. I was like, oh, okay. And then, it goes to like, that's the end of the song. And they're all just like sitting on the couch, except for Santana's on like the chair or whatever. And they like, the other two have their heads on Kurt's shoulder, and he's just like near just weeping. And I was just like, how could they not tell that he was crying? Because then he goes in this whole big charade of like, no, it's just my contacts. And everyone's like, oh, I didn't know you had contacts. Like, here, I have some contact solution. And I'm like,
hey, listen, when I cry at movies, I always make sure nobody knows.
But like for Kurt, like he's got some people literally cuddling next to him. Like, there's no way.
And I don't know why he couldn't have just said, oh, this movie made me cry because it's sad.
It is a sad movie. Yeah.
It's a sad movie.
And the song is really pretty. It's like,
yeah, you can play it off like that. You don't have to do a whole contact.
No one understands excuses.
Before or after Santana was just like, where she said, oh, you're crying because you used to sing this with Blaine.
It's concurrent.
Yeah.
Because that's
like,
what
I'm
happens.
actually just crying because it's a sad movie. Yeah, that's a better excuse than contacts.
Because earlier she brings up, oh, didn't you hook up with Blaine at Mr. Shu's wedding? And Kurt's like, proving that he is lying to Adam.
But doesn't Adam hear that?
Yeah,
He
and Adam
does.
just
He's
ignores it.
actually
Right in front
super
of him.
chill about the whole situation. But I also don't know how
Very
serious
weird.
their relationship is. Like they haven't
Great
made
question.
that clear.
Yeah, because then she's like, "Where are you from?" And he's like, "Have you heard of Essex?" And Santana's like, "No."
Never heard
No,
of it.
she's just not even engaging with him. But she's not super making fun of him either. Like she
No.
just doesn't even really like pay attention to him, which I
Mhm.
think he should take as a compliment.
Yeah.
And then she is like, "Kurt, didn't you sing this was plain? Didn't you used to say singing this song was a more intimate act than
And
sex?"
having sex. That was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Santana's
so-
like, she's calling bullshit because she's like, these two people who I used to know are being such fakers. And she's just like prodding at all their buttons. I was like, I'm here for this.
so then she's like, "Let's pause the movie. I need to say something. Brody is a shady character. Look what I found in his drawer." And they're like, "What?" And she's like, "Yeah, I went through all the drawers and loose crannies in this apartment. It's a thing that I do."
And then it's
And
like
they're
a 20-second montage of her going through their house.
I love
It was a long
Throwing
montage. I was like, this is
things
great.
Everywhere.
Like, couldn't they
The
have
fact-
noticed? Like, she was not going to clean that up. She was going to leave everything just as she left it.
Well, the fact that they didn't know until that moment, I was like, wow, did she put everything back away?
Yeah, I don't believe that she did. And then
And
she's
then-
like, what do you mean? I just moved in. You can't expect that I'm just going to move in and then look through all your shit. Like,
She's
duh.
like, "Yeah, it's a thing that I do." She's like, "I love how you guys pretend to be all accepting or whatever. But then when your friend who you haven't seen moves back in and goes through all your stuff, suddenly you're offended?"
She's terrific in this moment.
Mhm.
But then,
And
like,
She's like,
She-
"I found a wad of cash and a pager."
$1,200 and a pager.
Yeah.
And so then her announcement of who she thinks Brody is shocks me because I didn't think of that.
Drug dealer.
Drug dealer.
Yeah,
And I
those
was
two
like,
things
huh.
together, I was like, wait,
I guess that
That
makes
makes
sense.
okay.
I
I've
guess I
never
didn't
been-
realize drug dealers had
No.
pagers even in 2013. I thought that was such like a very early 2000s
Yeah.
thing.
I mean, pagers are harder to track, right? I guess.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
I honestly don't know how pagers work. So
Don't know.
never had one. Probably will never have one.
But this, like,
Do they
she
even
finds
still
this out
sell
and it, like,
them?
shocks everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like so many people, especially in New York, so many people are drug dealers. Maybe he's just like selling weed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could be something very chill and casual.
Yeah.
But
They
they're all
yeah.
like, I guess that's 2013.
I
I
feel
guess-
like he's not actually a drug dealer. I feel like the show is still like waiting and gonna like
spoil what it is.
do something. Yeah, like do
Yeah,
something that we
something
never
big.
thought of. But I
But
don't know what it is. He's still super sketchy to me.
yeah.
Either way.
I think that like this like combination of things is kind of like the moment in like an after school special where like a kid pulls out a cigarette and is like, do you want to smoke? Like everything kind of like stops and everyone's like super shocked and like, oh my God, drugs. And it's just like, you guys have done worse. This is Glee.
Yeah, it did seem like that.
It felt very after school special. I'm like, also you guys live in New York. Like you've probably seen someone do crack off of another person's butt crack in the street. So
exactly.
like, don't be shocked.
Especially on Glee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Only
Rachel
thing that-
did send Sunshine Corazon to a crack house.
Yes. In the second season, beginning of the second season?
Yep.
First episode.
Yep.
Oh my God.
It's not like we've never talked about drugs before.
Yeah, so like there's
Cool.
drugs in Lima. So yeah, it just felt very strange. Like the thing that shocked me was that she went to drug dealer. And I immediately thought that like he's like hooking for cash. And so like when they were like, oh, drug dealer, I was like, huh, I did not put that option together, but I guess that is an option.
You know what I think of immediately when they show a pager? Doctors.
Doctor.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, is Brody masquerading around at night as like a surgeon, and and people pay him cash to do illegal surgeries? What?
Like underground surgeries?
Yeah.
Fascinating. I mean, that
Oh
does
my
happen.
That would be too complex for Glee, I feel like.
Still.
That's too interesting.
Yeah, I like this. This is okay. That's another viable option. I like it.
They do an Operation themed number singing Carly Rae Jepsen's "Your Heart Is a Muscle."
Yes.
Yes, that
Brody's
smashed
real
up with the Monster
aspiration.
Mash.
His real aspiration is to become a surgeon, but it goes way back in the family that they're all performers. So he didn't want to disappoint the family legacy and become a surgeon.
That is, now that is a great idea for a movie. Love it.
So yeah, Santana's like, Brody is shady. And so Rachel is like, you know what? I've had enough of this. I'm calling Brody. And Brody's like, hey, Rachel. And she's like, yeah, we're just watching movies. And he's like, yeah, that's great. I'm with a friend. I have to go.
And Santana's over there mimicking, like doing a line off of her nose or off of her hand.
Yeah. And so
Oh my God.
Kurt's like, I agree with you. Yeah, he's a drug dealer. Kurt's just mad Brody's probably living there rent free.
Well, the other thing that made me laugh was the second that, like, I think this was like earlier when they were talking at first, and Santana's like, I need to talk about Brody, and Rachel's like, oh, and Kurt's like, go on. Kurt's like, please tell me.
So then after they're snowed in, we have a scene with Kurt practicing his dancing, and Adam walks in. Adam lurking while Kurt dances is a theme in their relationship.
Yes.
Yeah. Lots of lurking.
And he's like, were you thinking about Blaine? And Kurt's like, if I'm being honest, I was. I want to be over him, but I'm still struggling there. And Adam has kind of a surprising reaction where he's like, well, let's go to the movies. Let's watch the sappiest love story we can find and make our own romantic memories.
Yeah, and Kurt looks very not interested.
Oh.
Yeah, he doesn't seem like he wants to be doing that.
It's a bummer.
Poor Adam.
Really quick, though, going back to when Rachel's calling Brody, she is surrounded by thousands of vegetables. Did you see that?
Yeah.
She's cutting vegetables, and there's a ton of fresh vegetables. I was like, how are you affording that?
In New York.
They're all gonna rot before you can cook them all. What the hell? I was stunned. Just so many, and they're all over the counters, and
You're gonna get rats.
Just like
they're gonna have
out?
rats. They're gonna have flies.
God.
Anyway, but yeah, so that's what is confusing, because we talked just a bit earlier about like, okay, well, what is their actual relationship status? Are they serious, casual? If they're casual, him having hooked up with Blaine wouldn't matter, but like, there's no reaction to that. And it's just like, oh, you were thinking about him. A lot less like shady, I guess, in terms of like relationship stuff, to like think about someone as opposed to like hooking up with that person.
Yeah.
It's
Adam actually asks if he was the rebound, and I was like,
yeah.
Yes.
Well,
you were.
I mean, think about the timing. Yes. And he's like, no, of course not. And it seemed like Kurt genuinely meant that, like, no, but he doesn't seem very into him. Like, Adam seems more into him than Kurt is into Adam.
Poor Adam.
Yeah, the level of feelings there is not mutual, I would say.
Yeah, not equal for
I
sure.
feel like Casey feels bad for Adam because he seems like a great guy in this episode.
Oh.
But we saw him sing a cover of I Like Big Butts.
I forgot about it.
Oh no.
That I think made us all dislike him, even though he's actually not that bad of a character.
You may have to look up that number on YouTube.
Okay. That sounds bad.
It's like slowed down to about half speed, maybe.
And it's a cappella. right? Acapella. I think it was. Or maybe there was a band.
No, it wasn't. I don't think it was.
Yeah.
But it's like a lot of nerdy looking people singing Baby Got Back,
like
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
I'll have to watch it. I also, going back to your earlier point, I feel like hooking up with someone versus just like thinking about them, I feel like sometimes thinking about them like could honestly be a little worse. Because if you hook up with them, you could just like get those feelings out of the way and like,
True.
Yeah.
just, you know.
Especially if it's a casual relationship, because I feel like in that sort of situation, you hook up with someone, it's like a one-time thing. But if you're constantly thinking about them, and
it's more serious.
It's more like serious and emotionally, emotional attachment.
That's a good point, because also like it wasn't like he was thinking about hooking up with him. He was thinking about having like a very romantic moment with him of like singing this song that's more intimate than having sex, apparently.
I need to try it.
It'd be like, hey, let's do something crazy tonight. Let's sing a song from Moulin Rouge.
And then reenact the scene where he's like, I paid my whore in front of everybody. See, it still bothers me. So, all right. So then the last.
Is that Roxanne?
It's at the end during the stage play. He like finds out that she like did something. I can't remember all the details, but he's like throws money at her and he's like, I've paid my whore. And it's like super demeaning and like, not okay.
Yeah, they still get together.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
It definitely isn't a perfect film.
No.
The music, though, is very good.
Lots of pretty colors and sounds.
Yes.
That's all that matters, right?
Pretty colors and sounds.
So then Santana comes up to Rachel and is like, oh, we missed where Rachel was like first, or Santana was like, first, Brody told me I'm not a real New Yorker until I've had my first makeover.
What does that mean?
Like, what does that even mean? Which is, again, the show making fun of itself for the makeover episode.
Because I think Brody actually said that to Rachel and Kurt.
Yes. Yep.
And we were all like, what? And then it's coming up and Santana's like, what the fuck is that about?
Is the show just like constantly making fun of itself?
More now.
Yeah.
This season, it's definitely doing that a lot.
Lots of breaking the fourth wall and that sort of thing.
Ooh.
I hear by season 6, it's like a serpent eating its own tail. like that kind of like weird meta humor.
Oh, I can't wait.
Sounds awful.
Yeah.
The best way.
So then Santana is like, yeah, you know, I had someone basically attack me.
Yeah.
But I feel like a real New Yorker now. Like, I think these are my people. And Rachel is like, but she's like, Rachel, you know, when I was going through all your stuff in the bathroom trash, I found something. And Rachel's like, you had no right. And she's like, I found this pregnancy test. And Rachel just starts crying.
Yeah. She's like, because I think Rachel expects Santana to say something snotty. And she's like, you're seriously not going to tell me like I'm your friend? And then she just like bawls. And then Santana just like hugs her and comforts her.
That's nice.
It was kind of a sweet scene.
Yeah. Because Rachel needs some support because Kurt is kind of a slut shamer, to be honest.
Yeah.
So we need someone to support Rachel in this.
Also, he's a man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, do we have Kurt the male slut shamer or Santana the female body shamer? Like, which shame do you feel like dealing with?
Yeah. And at least like Santana's like, well, you're going to get fat, but this is going to suck. So I guess I'll come for you kind of thing.
She's already done this once with one of her friends too, so.
Do you think she comforted Quinn?
She did sing "Keep Holding On" with the group.
I mean,
even if she didn't comfort Quinn, we don't know what she was thinking at the time, and maybe she's like changed her views on how she reacted to the situation. So
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is like the end of all the storylines in the episode.
Mm-hmm.
This was actually a pretty compact episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that brings us to Tina
time.
I did not count Tina's lines at all.
I did. She
Was
had
she in
3.
this show?
Exactly, that's what I was thinking.
I was like,
Is she in this show?
Say anything?
Is she in this episode? I thought she didn't say anything because I was looking back on it, like trying to remember her saying anything, and I
don't remember.
She wanted them to sing a song from Working Girl, and then when Mr. Shoe said they all win, she was like, "What?" And she had another line, so she had 3 lines.
Okay.
Well, I guess none of them were about Blaine, so I guess that's a good sign. Because Tina was in love with Blaine for a couple episodes.
No.
It was awful. It was hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about our MVPs and LVPs. So Kaci, who is your least valuable player? Your least favorite character?
Probably this might be a hot take, but Finn.
Oh, okay.
Just because I think I was just annoyed about the fact that he did the thing where he was like, fix your relationship with Emma. And then he was like, I kissed her.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I thought Corey was really good.
Mm-hmm.
It was just the character that I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going with the other person that combo. I'm going with Will Schuester. One, for dragging these kids to a moment that is incredibly intimate and awkward, super private. Can't believe Emma was like, yeah, let's talk after you just brought these kids through our drama.
Well, it's not like it was a secret, let's be honest.
True. That's true, because they were already there at the wedding. But
everyone was at the wedding.
It feels like if you're gonna go to like do this romantic gesture and to like figure out what the hell went wrong, don't bring your students.
Excellent point.
Yeah, that's why I'm picking Shu for like the 1,000th time, I'm sure.
I'm gonna go with someone who was not even on screen.
Love it. Let's go.
Brody.
Yeah, shocker.
Because he's just so suspicious, and until I know what exactly is going on with him, he's going to remain suspicious.
It counts because he did have lines, so it counts. It definitely counts.
That's lines.
He was talking through the phone. No.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He was at Aaron's his friend's place, or Eric or something. I don't remember.
Did the friend have a name? I don't even know. He wasn't in Bushwick.
He's just a weird person, and I have thought that ever since the beginning. So we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out what's weird about him. He's on my weird list.
I have 2 honorable mentions.
Oh, okay.
I have Kitty the terrorist because she says the line, boys are like coal, they're hot, they get hot when you rub them, and sometimes they turn into diamonds, so collect as many as you can.
That was a good line.
I actually really like that line.
That was really good.
I'm like, Kitty, you are creating climate change with all your coal.
Well, then also she was like, to Marley, she's like, we're both dating Puckerman, so we're gonna be sister-in-laws. And I went, oh, you poor girls.
Yeah.
I still don't understand how that relationship even is like legally allowed to be portrayed on TV.
Yeah.
Speaking of vines, is this allowed? Is this allowed? Yeah, so shout out to that, though. Did make me want Kitty to sing Shania Twain's "That Don't Impress Me Much," which is a crime that Glee never covered. that song.
I
Or
thought
any
you were
Shania.
literally saying it's
No.
a crime that Glee never covered. So like Glee committed a crime and they never covered it up.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Well,
then
I mean, they haven't covered up a lot of the crimes that we have seen. They are on full display.
yeah,
Crimes against humanity.
the song.
Oh, that's another one you should probably go back and watch.
Don't mention
Horrible.
that while I'm trying to drink something.
The thong song.
Oh no.
Yeah. Oh, it gets worse. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh good.
But my other honorable mention is Emma's parents, because they're spicy white supremacists and they gave their daughter's location away. But my pick is going to be Kurt for not being honest with Adam, because Adam seems very sweet and very into him, and Kurt's not being open about, he sort of was open about his feelings with Blaine, but he wasn't honest about hooking up with him. He wasn't honest about, how he feels.
Yeah.
So I think that's not fair.
I don't even think he's being honest with himself.
That's fair.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Good
That's a
one.
good point.
So Kaci, who is your favorite character, your MVP?
I think so. Based off of this episode alone, I'm gonna have to go with Adam because I've not seen.
Baby got back.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. So I'll probably ruin my impression of him. But in this episode, he was very sweet. He obviously cares a lot about Kurt, and he, I think, wants to make it work, and I respect that.
Yeah. No, that's totally valid. I think we probably hate on him so much because of that. But aside from that, forgetting about it, he's kind of too good for Kurt because he's
too good for this show.
Yeah, he doesn't really fit in.
Yeah,
it just
he's
doesn't make
normal and
sense.
well-adjusted.
Yeah, exactly. He's like a normal person.
Doing here. So I think Adam's still a good choice. I'm gonna go with Santana because I enjoyed her picking at everyone's buttons, and she's really just kind of trying to get everyone to be honest. And I think it must be super weird to have known these people for however many years she did, and all of a sudden, they have this new life in New York. They're trying to reinvent themselves, and she's like, "You guys are fucking phonies." So I'm glad that she kind of was like, you guys need to be honest with other people and yourselves. And I'm glad that she was there for Rachel.
She's been holding on to that for years until the perfect moment to use it.
But also if Santana wasn't there, just thinking of who would Rachel go to? What would that experience be? So I guess in a way, I'm kind of grateful that she's there for Rachel because, I mean, we don't like Rachel a lot of the time, but she's in a very tough situation and, she's surrounded by these crazy dudes.
Do you think that's the only reason why they have Santana go to New York and live with them is because they're we want Rachel to get pregnant, but there's no one for her to go to. We should have Santana move there.
I think Santana is there because there's going to be a point where she does something career-wise, and it's going to be very worth it, I think.
I think Santana was there because they just needed more drama in the New York stuff, more conflict, and more just fun, Glee edginess.
Yeah.
And I think that's why they brought Santana, because they thought Kate Hudson was going to bring it, but all she did was give us a couple dance covers that asserted my sexuality.
Oh, yeah. But we love Kate Hudson. Love her in general.
She was in
Love
the
her.
show?
Yes.
She was an evil dance teacher.
Ooh.
She still technically is, right?
God, I hope they fired her.
Kate Hudson.
I hope someone reported, someone in the class reported her being I'm pretty sure she slept with her TA and she's been bullying this child. The child being Rachel.
Let's just up the drama here and have her also be pregnant. both of them pregnant with Brady's kid.
Oh,
my
God.
gosh. And Whoopi is brought in to mediate.
Ooh, ooh.
Carmen Thibodeau played by Whoopi Goldberg.
Yes.
All right, Alyssa.
Favorite?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Favorite? Okay. I'm gonna go with someone who's not usually a favorite ever. Jake. I'm going with Jake.
Interesting.
He was one of my top. Yeah.
He was really sweet this episode. Number one, he admitted that Ryder was the person who did all the things on Valentine's Day. That was very upstanding of him. Like, I was not expecting that from him at all. And then the fact that he came up with this was super sweet. And even though Clay probably should have been going everywhere in that scene, because I don't think either of them know how to throw pots. So
yeah,
it's not easy.
No,
right?
it's not. No.
Yeah, because I thought like the clay really wasn't moving a lot, and I was like, is it like still hard? Like, because it just like there wasn't like much shape happening, and like if you put your finger in there, it's like it just explodes.
Yeah. So that honestly, if that happened in real life, that would have not turned out romantically, but it probably would have been really fun.
Yeah. So for anyone out there hoping to recreate this with their special someone, be aware that it's going to make a mess.
Yes.
If you're not already trained.
But I really enjoyed that he tried to set up this special situation. And I also understood his reaction, and I was happy that he didn't. His anger issues have been something in the past that he's had to deal with, but they didn't bring that into this scene, and I think that was a good choice for him.
That's a good point.
Yell or berate Marley or kick anything. He just he leaves. He gets out of the situation.
Yep.
And he doesn't even I thought he was gonna leave and go after Ryder. And the next time we see him, he and Ryder just aren't sitting together or talking.
Yeah. The most aggressive thing you see is him glaring at Ryder, and that's it.
Yeah.
I think Jake's a good choice, Santana's a good choice, Adam's a good choice. They're all good choices. I'm actually going with Marley because even though she was fantasizing about another man during her love duet, she did tell Jake pretty soon. And the whole setup with her telling Kitty and Kitty crossing her fingers made it seem like Kitty was going to spill the beans and get Marley in trouble. But Marley was one step ahead and brought it up herself. So I appreciated her honesty.
That was so weird though. Why did they even have the scene with Kitty?
Someone wrote the Cole line and they're like, it's too good. We have to keep it.
Yeah, because it doesn't go anywhere.
No.
Maybe it'll go somewhere next episode, but I can't imagine where it's going to go.
How could it go? Because she already told
Jake already
them.
knows. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Other than Kitty getting up in front of everyone, did you know Marley did this? And everyone's like, oh my God, yeah. Why are you like this, Kitty?
I mean, maybe she tries to sabotage something and it doesn't work, but that's literally as far as I can go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about the music. We have You're All the World to Me, Shout, Come What May, Old Time Rock and Roll / Danger Zone, Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend / Material Girl, In Your Eyes, Unchained Melody, and Footloose. So Kaci, what was your least favorite song?
I think I'll probably have to go with the Shout number just because it felt random. And they were like, what if we did boys and girls? And then they just ran around the school for a little bit.
They worked backwards from a little bit softer now in the library. They worked backwards from that.
Actually,
I
really didn't like the way that they did the sound on that because they actually lowered the volume.
And that's not the point.
Mixing.
The point is that you start to whisper.
Yeah, exactly.
So it was cheating. They cheated. So I'm going to second that. Shout. Bad.
I'm also going with Shout. I didn't like any of it. It was weird. I thought that them going around the school was weird. That the teachers allowed them to kidnap students from their classes was weird.
Right?
It was just very, very strange. And half of the students that are performing were not the Glee kids. And I was like, who the hell are these
There's
people?
always random. I was like, why aren't you in Glee Club? If you're not in Glee Club, don't fucking dance.
Yeah, exactly.
I just want Hannah to walk into an episode of Glee to this extra. If you're not in Glee Club, fucking sit down.
No.
Don't
So that would
fucking
be
dance.
if I was that science teacher that came in and they start singing, they start like trying to get people like, you're not in Glee Club, sit your ass down. That would be me.
Miley's favorite, Alyssa may be upset, but is Unchained Melody.
Sad.
I literally cannot remember anything about the song. Like I remember the visuals, but nothing about the music sticks in my memory.
Which one was that?
The one from Ghost.
Oh, okay. The only thing I remember about the song was Jake sounded really good, and then he went full Kermit. He didn't sound good anymore. I'm so sorry. I feel really bad for saying this about this actor, but like, it's just not good technique, and it just doesn't sound good. I'm sorry.
There was something like off about his singing.
It comes from up here. Like when he sings from here, from your chest, that's good, but it gets too nasally and it doesn't sound good. Mm-hmm. But overall, I thought like his acting is really good, and there were parts of the song I thought were good. Just
overall.
Yeah.
So Casey, what was your favorite song?
My favorite was Come What May, just because I loved that song from Moulin Rouge. I loved I thought there was some nice chemistry between Kurt and Blaine. And I don't blame Kurt for singing to his ex, because it was relatable. And I thought it was a very cute scene.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna second it. I don't like Moulin Rouge, but I do really like the song. I've heard it before, and I've heard it in the movie version. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I thought like their chemistry was good, and their singing voices together for that song were really good. Yeah, so I'm going with that one.
I am actually going with In Your Eyes. And this is kind of surprising because it's Will's song, and that's just surprising. But I thought as I was watching the scene and like listening to the lyrics that it was the song that fit the scene the most accurately, and like the lyrics fit the situation. Mm-hmm. And
that's rare for Glee.
Yeah. Like I think it's one of the songs, honestly, in the entire show that fits the situation the most. And even though the kids were there singing in the background and that was inappropriate, I still think that it was a really good song choice for that moment.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going with Old Time Rock and Roll / Danger Zone.
It was a close one for me too.
I thought it was fun. I liked that I got to see Sam without pants. Yeah, and it was just like the Danger Zone is more of a stretch, but Old Time Rock and Roll, that scene is like a classic scene from a movie. So I could legit see teenage boys saying like, this is a good idea to do. In real life, the teacher would be like, you can't walk around school without your pants.
Yeah. But they've done that before.
But they have done that before.
Yeah.
The teachers have said that before.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
So yeah, but I thought that was fun. Yeah. So that brings us to the end of our episode.
Wow.
Yeah. Casey, where can we find you and your podcast on social media?
Well, you can find our podcast at Fan Out of You on Instagram, I think, and also Twitter, and I'll make a fan out of you pod.com. Some different combination of I'll make a fan out of you or just fan out of you. and he can slap a pod at the end. I can't remember the specifics of each one because I think all three have a different one. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah,
So
if you follow them when they do polls, like they'll like have you rank the Disney movies. I've done the polls before.
You have?
Yeah, you gave me a shout out on air once. Yeah. So it's fun. So they have interactive stuff like we do. So
it's very hard to rank them, I will say.
Yes.
So you can follow Gleeboot. We are at Gleeboot Pod on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. And then you can also find us gleebootpod.tumblr.com.
You can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at yourboyryan99 and YouTube at YABOI
And you can follow me on Instagram at a.m.swearingen. And I'm painting a mini right now, but I forgot to do the process pictures. So you're just gonna see the end product. So
very cool.
Yeah. But
ooh, that's exciting.
Yeah. I keep saying I'm gonna post things and then I end up not posting them. I promise this time I'll post something.
Keeping everybody on their toes.
Yes. Unpredictable. That's me.
So yeah, Kaci, thank you so much for coming on. We hope you had a good time.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yay.
Super
fun.
And tune in next week for an episode called Feud, which, if was made later in world history, would have covered Taylor Swift's "Look What You Made Me Do." But yeah.
Now this is not
Mashed
in
up
relation
with Katy Perry's "Swish Swish."
Oh, but this is not in connection to the other Ryan Murphy Media feud featuring God, who was it?
Betty Davis and Joan
Betty
Crawford.
Davis. I almost said Bette Midler. Oh my God. Yeah. So not in connection to that, I'm assuming.
No. This is where he got the idea for that.
Probably. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, guys. Tune in next week.
Bye.
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 Gleeboot.